the first thing that will come to your when you talk about search engines, it is important to understand how the search engine works, right? And the one top name that would come to your mind is Google. Because Google has the highest market share when you talk about different types of search engines. So let us see how everything began. On August 6, 1991, the first website was launched by Tim Berners-Lee. Okay, and as it was the first website, there was not much of regulations when you talk about the SEO, right? Earlier, it was very much into keyword stuffing, right? Meaning that one article or one blog on your website would have more than 10-20 keywords. Okay, you can generate backlinks from any source without the authenticity. So everything was allowed when the SEO was very young. That is basically I'm talking about uh, in 1995 and onwards, right? But the first website was launched in 1991, and everything was allowed for ranking purpose because it was a very very primitive stage, very early stage of internet, very early stage of SEO. Now, when I talk about the first website, this is how the first website looks like. This is the actual first website. This is a screenshot of it. You can go online and check it out. It's info.cern.ch. Now, this website, if you look at it, right, it is not very beautiful. It's not very engaging. It's only black and white text and links. And that is how the first website, looked like. Now, what is to understand in this is till date, when we talk about SEO or when we talk about Google search engine, what it, crawls, or when I talk about crawls or what the search engine reads is the same thing. That is black and white text, right? Whatever text, whatever content you have on the website, and it reads the links that you have. Those are the two things it is reading. SEO has very, when you talk about the readability point of view, SEO has very less to do with the overall design or the overall images that you have on the website. It is more to do with what kind of text you have. Is the content meaningful on your website or not? Is the content on your website helping the person who is searching for information? So till date, even now, the text that you use on your website or the content that you use on your website is very, very important. Before inception of Google, what was Google, in the very, very earlier stage. So you must be aware about Larry Page and Sergey Brin. They are the co-creator and co-founder of Backrub, right? Now, what is Backrub? Backrub was the first name of Google, right? And Backrub basically started as a PhD project in 1995. That was started by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. And they built a search engine that used links to determine the importance of individual pages World Wide Web, that is the internet. Right. Now, if you look at the word backrub, right, it is very much related to the current word called backlinks. Okay. So this is very important. The whole foundation of Google is based on, links which are referring to your website. Okay, that is the core algorithm. That is the core foundation of Google search engine, and it is not going to go anywhere. It is a very important function of Google. And later in 1997, Backrub was renamed to Google. Coming to what is the current SEO, right? Like what is SEO in 2023? So we are calling it what is the new SEO, right? So when you talk about the SEO abbreviation, the full form is search engine optimization. But what I look at it is from an engine's perspective. It is not just Google, right? Where you would be able to search information. Okay, there are multiple engines, or you can say multiple search engines for which your website has to be optimized, for which your content has to be optimized. Okay, so all this, different types of search engines, they are also a very integral part of the SEO strategy. So what are the search engines? There are multiple types of search engines, but the popular ones are Google, but obviously it has 92.57% of global market share when we talk about search engines. Then comes Bing, then comes Yahoo, right? Then comes Yandex. Yandex is mainly popular in the in Russia. Then we have Baidu, that is more popular in China, right? And then we have DuckDuckGo, which is popular in the Western countries and the European countries. So these are the types of search engines. Now, depending on what SEO you are focusing on, are you focusing on local SEO? Are you focusing on national SEO? Are you focusing on international or global SEO? You have to define your SEO strategy. Now, when we talk about search engine, it is not just limited to Google or Bing or Yahoo, right? There are other types of search engines. So there are currently four types of search engines apart from the normal information search engine. The first type of search engine and the most popular is creators, right? So one of the category of search engines creators. So these platforms are like YouTube. Okay, then we have TikTok, then we have Twitch, where people can actually create content, upload, on various kind of video uploading platforms. But the interesting part is that people go on YouTube and they search for information, right? One of the examples, if I can give, is about how to videos. Okay, so how to videos are there, do it yourself, DIY videos are there, right? They are informational video. Okay, and people, they go over there and search for solutions for specific problems related to a service or a product that they are seeking. So creator category or YouTube is also a search engine. Similarly, social networks like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they also act as a search engine. That is the reason Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, they have a bio section. In the bio section, you can basically add information about yourself or about your company, what you guys are doing, right? What are your services and so on. So when someone searches on Facebook, right, for specific key results, and they would be basically able to search for your company as well, or search for any kind of queries they are looking for. But the nature of social network is that it's a community based platform, that has to be kept in mind. So whatever strategy that you use on social media, whatever content or keywords you use, it should be related to what community you are targeting in terms of improving your visibility on social networks like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Then another popular search engine would be Q&A platforms, right? So these are very popular nowadays, especially Quora is there, Stack Overflow is there, Brainly is there. So all this are different type of Q&A platforms where you can answer specific questions, right? You can basically also ask questions to specific experts on that platform, and you can get answers for whatever solutions you are looking for. So Q&A platform is also a search engine. Similarly, we have chat applications like WhatsApp is there, Snapchat is there, Discord is there, right? They are not directly search engines, but nowadays it's very popular, right? So especially when you are searching for some kind of content, then this is basically a supporting aspect for information dissemination. It is very important that you have this information well recorded in your business WhatsApp bios, right? Then comes subculture. So in subculture, it's more about sharing information, and then there are groups and there are communities who would be basically talking about a specific information, a specific category, and then further nurturing that information and creating a community out of it. That is the reason it is called a subculture. Right. So Reddit is one of the example for it. Now, why are we discussing this? We are discussing this because whenever you are creating an SEO strategy, you have to keep in mind the Q&A platforms. You have to keep in mind the creator platforms. You have to keep in mind the social networks and subculture platforms. Right. In all those platforms, it is important that you have the right kind of uniform information across all the platforms, but customization should be there based on what target audience you have. Okay, so it is very important. So these are the different type of search engines that has to be part of your SEO strategy in 2023. You cannot just focus on Google search, right? You have to also focus on other search engines as well. So how has Google evolved, right? So Google AdSense started in 1991, then 1995, and like that, slowly, gradually, Google started improving itself. Right? Google's main priority is again to identify a website which is having high quality backlinks. Right? We will come to the backlinks concept very soon. But it started improving its overall search engine algorithms, overall search engine metrics in satisfying the search queries with the right appropriate results. Okay, so it started out with the first update in 2011, that is Panda, right? Then it went to Penguin update. Then there was a Hummingbird update, right? And latest, if you see, in 2022, it was a product algorithm update focusing on identifying high quality reviews for users. Okay, so there is a whole journey, and as and when there is an update, right, the whole SEO community is normally shaken up. Reason being that whatever updates Google gives is impacting all the websites that are on the internet, right? How they are being searched by Google crawl bots. Crawl bots are basically bots of Google who are crawling your websites for information and storing that information in a database. So later it can be used when a search query is introduced or search query is ran in the database. The search query would basically give your website as the end information. So this is the whole journey how Google has updated its algorithms and ranking systems. Okay, but what is the latest Google update? So Google has latest updated its algorithm on March 2023 with a core update that will be targeting all type of contents within all regions and languages, right? So what it means is that what information you provide on your website or any kind of digital asset that you have, it can be a social media page, it can be a web page, it can be a microsite, it can be a blog or an article. So whatever information you are providing on your digital asset, it has to be very, very useful. Value addition should be there, right? It should have authentic information, right? And it should not be very much limited to an introduction, right? It should be very comprehensive when it comes to giving a solution. So all these factors add up to a high quality content. So this is what Google has updated in its core algorithm update recently. So if you guys are focusing on creating good quality articles, then focus on a 360-degree solution that you want to provide for your target audience or your customers, right? This content would basically help Google identify your website and rank it to the first page and first position. So creating good quality content would be one of the priorities. Coming to how to boost SEO ranking. Okay, so it is very important that we identify three things. The first, a search engine needs to find your pages on the web. Okay, so if it is Google or any other search engine, your web pages should be optimized in a way that they are very much searchable. Right? It should have the right kind of title. It should have right kind of H1, H2, H3, that is heading 1, heading 2, heading 3 as applicable. It should have the right meta tags, should have the right description, it should have the right word limit. When you are creating a page, all those things are very important. And all the titles, heading 1, heading 2, description should match with the content of your web page. Okay, the keywords should be matching, right? It should be relevant, it should be authentic as well. Okay, so it makes the the crawling process of a web page easy for the Google crawl bots. The second part is it must scan them to understand the topic, identifying the keywords. That's what I just mentioned right now. The crawlbot should be able to scan the information. And the third one is it needs to add them to its index, a database of all the content it has found on the web. So once the information is crawled, it goes to the database, which I mentioned earlier, the same thing. That whatever information is crawled, it will go to that database and it helps the algorithm to display your website for relevant queries. So let us go a little bit deep into what is technical SEO. So if you look at this infographic, the technical SEO has multiple aspects, and we will quickly go through each one of them. HTTPS or a SSL secured website is mandatory nowadays. So if you have a website which does not have a SSL secured certificate, then it would show as not secure. Now that itself is a red flag when you're having a website. Now, how to get a HTTPS or a SSL secured certificate? You can buy it online from your domain provider, right, where you got the domain from, or you can also get the certificate from any SSL service provider. It's very easy, and you just simply have to integrate it to your website. Second, mobile friendly website. Nowadays, you can see more than 90% of the people, they scan or search on the mobile phones, because mobile phones are very compatible nowadays to the internet. So mobile friendly websites are very important, right? Your mobile should be dynamic to fit any screen size. Okay. And the content and the layout should be mobile friendly. Broken links, your website should not have any broken links, meaning when you click on any button on your website, it should redirect to a specific call to action or a content. Okay. But if it is not working, that means there is a link which is broken. So there are various kind of website audit tools which you can use to identify broken links. Structured data, it means that the data of your website should be well structured, right? For that, you can use various kind of again website audit tools that will help you in identifying where are the gaps on your website, and you can structure and plan your data accordingly. Preferred domain version. Now, preferred domain version means that how you are highlighting your domain to the search engine. Is it with www.xyz.com, or is it without the worldwide website www. Or it is simply xyz.com, right? So that preference you have to share, when you are creating the website. Then is page speed. Your page speed should be less than 1 MB or even lesser if possible. This can be accomplished by compressing your HTML code, compressing your SQL codes, you're compressing the overall programming codes, which are pretty heavy when you are using a function on your web page. You have to compress your heavy images which are very high definition. You have to compress your videos which are directly going onto your web page. So overall your web page size should be less than 1 MB, so that if there is an internet issue or a connectivity issue, the website does not take too much of time in opening. Next is sitemap. Now sitemap is what it means. It is a map of your website. Right now, sitemap files can be generated and it can be submitted on your website itself, which helps the Google crawl bots to, extract the information of your website structure. So no pages are left when the crawling process is going on. Robot.txt. Robots.txt is again a function in SEO which tells the search engine which pages to crawl and which pages not to crawl. Because sometimes what happens, there are many pages on your website that does not need crawling from the Google crawl bots, right? In that case, the service time can be reduced. Website structure. The website structure should be well planned. The navigation of the website should be well planned. The menu, the sub menu, the inside pages. So all those things has to be well planned, keeping in mind the user experience you want to give to the website visitors. 310 redirection. This is again a function in SEO where you have a content which is not relevant, right, which is more date specific, and you don't want the person to visit that page, and you can have a 301 redirection of SEO, and the person whenever goes on that link would be redirected to another relevant page. 404 error code, well, this should not be on the website. So if there is an error code of 404, you should check with the website administrator or the tech team to help you resolve it. AMP is amplified mobile pages. These are basically mobile pages on your website, which will basically help the person to scroll your website on a mobile device. So these are all the technical points in SEO which are very, very important to ensure that you are providing a good SEO experience, right? Especially when the Google search engine crawl bots are in process. Then comes content. So every time you use a search engine, you are looking for content, information on a particular issue or a problem, right? This content might come in different format. It could be text like a blog post or a web page, but it could also be a video, product recommendation, and even a business listing. It's all different types of content. And for SEO, it's what helps gain greater search visibility. So let's go a little bit deeper into the content aspect. Content marketing. So there are 4 Ds of content marketing strategy. The first is design, the second is develop, the third is deploy, and the fourth is decode. In the design, we are basically focusing on aligning the business goal with content marketing and media goals, right? Understand the context, landscape, and trends. Craft out problem statement, identify and develop personas, identify key conversations, topics, messages, keywords, influencers relevant to persona. So, in the design aspect, we are basically planning what to create, right? Who is our target audience? How are we basically defining the persona of their target audience, right? So let's say, for example, if you're talking about overseas education, who is our target audience? If it is a student, and what is the age of the students? What the student is probably studying or looking towards studying. So all those things has to be mapped out, and this data mapping would basically help you in creating a good content, right? It would help you in creating the right kind of title and topics to be selected, the keywords to be selected, what the person is searching, what kind of style they are going to use. So on the design aspect, it's all about planning and understanding the complete uh, content landscape. The second part is develop, right? Once the planning part is done, you have to basically start identifying insights and craft out big ideas. Develop key messages, relevant and content assets. So when you're talking about big ideas, developing the key message, you're mainly focusing on the marketing communication side. Over here, we would be focusing on what are we communicating, how our communication is setting us apart from the competition, right? Because when you are talking about the overseas education industry in general, right, there are many players, but how are we setting ourselves different? So you have to focus on brand positioning, you have to focus on marketing communication, right? How are you transferring that marketing communication, brand positioning elements into your content, right? All those key message are very important. And relevant content assets means you are writing a blog, that is a content asset for you. You are basically publishing an ebook about overseas education, for example, that is a content for you, right? Content asset. So identifying the ideas, the marketing communication elements, the brand positioning elements, and what exactly do you want to create, right? And the creation part itself. The third is deploy. Once the development is done of the content, we will be deploying it, right? Now for that to happen, we need to ensure, for example, if we have written an article, if you're written a blog, if you're created a web page, if you have created an ebook or a case study, right, where are we going to publish it, right? Obviously it is on the website, but then you have to take it further, right? That is part of the off page SEO strategy. You have to create a content calendar and a distribution strategy that would help you identify where the content would be published, right? Monitor, and once it is published, then you have to start tracking and monitoring process. Is the content being viewed? Is it getting any engagement? Are you generating any leads out of it? If it is not doing so, then you have to basically recalibrate your distribution strategy and put your content in front of people who are more interested in it. Okay, that is the deploy part. And then decode. In decode, you are basically identifying benchmarks and mapping out KPIs, in relation to goals. Monitor and analyze content performance and optimize content and campaigns. So let's say, for example, you have created a fabulous content and you are rolling it out through paid campaigns, you're rolling it out through email campaigns and reaching out to your target audience. Okay. Now over here, it is very important to understand that what is the ROI of it. You have created the content, you are now distributing it. Are we getting leads out of it? Are we getting any traffic out of it? If not, then you have to go back and basically understand, what are the gaps? Are you using the incorrect subject line if it is email, right? Are you using the wrong targeting method, right? There are multiple components to it. So overall, there are four main, marketing strategies, 4 Ds: design, develop, deploy, and decode. Now talking about links. Now this is very important. Now in links, the first two areas are technical setup and content, which we just covered, right? This is basically increase the relevance of what we have done. And the third most important part is links. Now we have a good page. It is searchable. It has very good content. It is very relevant content, but the links would define the ranking part of it. Created a page, you have created content, but if it is not having links, then you are going to have a hard time in ranking. So what is links or backlinks? So if you talk about backlinks concept is pretty straightforward, right? You have a website, right? And if someone is giving you a link to your website on a third party website or a digital asset owned by that person, that is called as a backlink. Okay. So in backlinks, it is very important that from a SEO perspective, that your website has authentic backlinks. Okay. So if someone likes a website, someone gives a link to their website to his own page, or let's say to a social media page, right? That is also counted as a backlink. The more backlinks you have, right, the higher the chances that your website would be more popular, the more traffic you would have, the more leads you would generate, right? A better ranking you would have. So creating backlinks are very important. But nowadays, if you see in 2023, it's quite difficult to create a regular, authentic, genuine backlink. So what are the different ways of creating a backlink? By the way, the average cost in the international market for creating a backlink is around $300. Okay, that's pretty expensive if you talk about SEO. So what the SEO community has done is it has started creating its own backlink instead of waiting for someone to refer a website or give a backlink. So what we do is we basically use social bookmarks. We use wiki website. We use social media like Facebook, Twitter. We use Web 2.0 profiles. We use various kind of social networks, blogs, articles. We use press releases. We use PDF sites. And in all these digital assets that I'm talking about, we will give our targeted website link and publish it on various kind of digital asset. Now that creates the backlinks for your website. But over here, it's very important to understand that creating a backlink strategy, the core of it should be authenticity, right? The authenticity is very, very important when you are creating a backlink. Meaning, so you have a overseas education website, and when you're creating a backlink, that backlink or the source website should be also related to overseas education. Then it would be counted as a authentic backlink. The second thing is that the website that is giving you backlink should have a good domain authority. A good domain authority means it should be 50 plus. Anything below 50 it won't be able to help you out in getting the ranking part, right? So if you have, let's say, 10,000 backlinks from a website whose domain authority is below 30, then it might not be very helpful. But on the contrary, if you have 500 websites, okay, with domain authority of 50 plus or 60 or 70, then it will definitely help you in getting to the first position on the first page, because ultimately it is telling the Google search engine that okay, this website is very important. All the information on it is very authentic and relevant, and that is the reason it has backlinks from highly relevant websites which are having a domain authority of 50 plus. So guys, this was the overall information about SEO in 2023. Okay, now request you guys to help me in polling about our webinar. Give your polls.